Let's be honest, love didn't die. It just got rebranded. What used to be about connection has turned into competition. What used to be about feeling something real is now about being seen as desirable. We don't fall in love anymore. We fall into validation traps. Because in 2025, love isn't about finding someone who understands you. It's about finding someone who posts you. We don't date to connect, we date to be admired, and if the world doesn't see it, it doesn't count. Scroll through social media right now. It's not couples, it's marketing campaigns. Every relationship is a performance. The cute matching outfits, the staged, candid photos, the overly emotional captions. It's not affection, it's advertising. We're not showing love, we're selling it. And behind those filtered smiles, you'll find the truth. Everyone's terrified. Terrified of being the one who cares more. Terrified of not looking high value. Terrified of being seen as replaceable. So we play the game, we withhold, we ghost, we breadcrumb. Not because we don't want love, but because we're scared of losing leverage. It's not connection anymore, it's strategy. Every text is calculated, every delay in response is power. We're not building intimacy, we're building control. And here's the irony, we have more ways to connect than ever before. DMs, dating apps, video calls, yet we've never felt lonelier. Because no matter how many people we talk to, it all feels empty. Shallow. Temporary. You can't build love when everyone's addicted to attention. You can't find connection when everyone's performing perfection. Because we're not falling for people, we're falling for personas. Remember when love used to be messy, when it meant risking something real? Now it's a game of who can care less, who can scroll past faster, who can act like they don't give a damn, even when they do. That's not strength. That's emotional paralysis. The truth is, love didn't vanish. It got buried under filters, followers, and fake confidence. It got replaced by validation loops, where we chase likes instead of loyalty, dopamine instead of depth. We don't crave soulmates anymore. We crave someone who will make us feel relevant, someone who'll remind us that we still matter, even if it's just through a story post or a temporary rush of attention. So yeah, love isn't dead, but it's not alive either. It's trapped, somewhere between authenticity and algorithm, and until we stop treating connection like a competition, we'll keep mistaking being seen for being loved. Let's face it, dating in 2025 isn't about love. It's about leverage. We don't fall for people anymore. We evaluate them, we scroll through profiles like we're browsing Amazon for the best emotional deal. He's cute, but his job title isn't impressive enough. She's attractive, but her vibe screams high maintenance. It's not romance, it's retail, and the worst part, we're all guilty of it. Somewhere along the way, love turned into a transaction. Affection became currency, and everyone's trying to get the best return on emotional investment. You don't date to connect, you date to upgrade. You don't stay loyal, you stay until something better comes along. Because in this marketplace, loyalty isn't valuable anymore. Options are. We treat people like placeholders, like trial subscriptions we can cancel the second the novelty wears off. And when we're done, we don't end things with closure, we just disappear. We call it protecting our peace. But really, it's emotional consumerism. Dating apps sold us the illusion of abundance, an endless catalogue of potential soulmates. But that abundance killed appreciation. When everything's replaceable, nothing feels meaningful. When every swipe brings another face, another body, another maybe, commitment feels like limitation. You can't build something real when your attention span resets every time a new notification pops up. You can't value connection when you're addicted to the chase. We've turned love into a numbers game. How many likes, how many matches, how many people want me? It's not about connection, it's about confirmation. Confirmation that we still matter, that we're still desirable, that we still can get someone if we wanted to. But here's the ugly truth no one admits. When you treat love like a marketplace, you become a product too. Your worth starts depending on how much attention you can attract. Your confidence becomes tied to metrics. Replies, followers, views. You start marketing yourself, not being yourself. And when that attention fades, You feel empty, like you've been returned to the shelf. Because deep down, you don't want more options. You want one person who chooses you, even when they could choose anyone else. But that kind of love doesn't survive in the marketplace, because it's not efficient, not convenient, not instantly gratifying. The truth? We traded connection for comparison. We replaced chemistry with criteria, and now we're all pretending we're too busy, too focused, too healed for love, when in reality, we're just too scared to be vulnerable in a world that treats vulnerability like weakness. Love used to be rare, now it's discounted, mass-produced, and the more we shop for it, the less we actually find it. Let's stop pretending. People don't want love anymore. They want attention. They don't crave connection. They crave confirmation. Because in 2025, validation has replaced vulnerability. Everyone says they want something real, but what they actually want is to feel desired. They want the texts, the double taps, the constant reminder that they matter. They want to be wanted, not to actually want someone. It's not about finding a partner anymore, it's about finding an audience. You see it everywhere, the girl posting cryptic quotes after every breakup, the guy liking every story of the girl who ghosted him, the endless cycle of people performing healing online just to get sympathy, attention, or envy. No one's falling in love, they're building a brand. Their relationships aren't built on compatibility, they're built on visibility. We've created a culture where being seen is more important than being known, where people chase affection not because they want to give love, but because they're terrified of feeling invisible. Here's the toxic part. Validation feels like love at first. That dopamine rush when someone flirts with you, compliments you, calls you different, it feels deep. It feels personal, but it's not. It's a hit, a quick fix for the emptiness underneath. And that's the addiction. The need to be seen, to be wanted, to be chosen. Not for who you are, but for how you make someone else feel about themselves. We've all been there, texting someone not because we like them, but because they make us feel wanted. Posting something not because we're proud, but because we want someone specific to see it. Saying, "I miss you," not because we actually do, but because we want to know if they still care. It's not love, it's ego maintenance. And here's the heartbreaking part. When everyone's chasing validation, no one's capable of giving love anymore. Because love requires focus, validation requires attention, and we're all too distracted to focus on anyone for long. That's why relationships now feel temporary, hollow, exhausting. Everyone's auditioning for affection, trying to prove they're worthy of being seen. But real connection? It dies in a world where everyone's performing. You can't fall in love when you're busy trying to impress the person you're with. You can't build something real when every gesture, every moment, every post has an audience in mind. Here's the cold truth. Most people don't want to love. They want to feel loved. They want the illusion of intimacy without the responsibility of effort. They want the attention, not the accountability. And that's why love feels impossible now. Because when everyone's chasing admiration, no one's actually connecting. We're all mirrors reflecting each other's insecurities, desperate to feel enough in a world that keeps telling us we aren't. The validation epidemic isn't about dating, it's about identity. Because somewhere along the way, we stopped asking, "Do I love this person?" and started asking, "Do they make me feel important?" And that's not love, that's dependency dressed up as romance. Let's be real. Nobody wants to feel anything anymore. Not deeply, not genuinely, because in 2025, vulnerability is weakness and emotions are liabilities. We've become a generation of emotionally minimalist people, giving just enough to keep someone around, but never enough to actually connect. Everyone's protecting themselves from being hurt, but in the process, they're killing the very thing that makes love possible. You don't open up. You play it cool. You don't care too much. Because caring too much makes you look desperate. You don't text first. You don't say how you feel. You don't risk rejection. You call it standards, but really it's fear. Fear of being seen, fear of being hurt, fear of losing control. We're all performing strength while silently starving for connection. Everyone's posting quotes about self-worth and guarding your peace, but half of them are crying themselves to sleep, wishing someone would just try harder. But no one wants to go first. No one wants to be the one who cares more, so everyone just pretends they don't care at all. That's emotional minimalism. Giving half your heart, expecting the world, and wondering why nothing feels real anymore. We've glamorized detachment. We've turned not caring into a personality. The less you feel, the cooler you seem. The less you need, the more mysterious you become. But let me tell you something. Numb doesn't mean strong. It just means you've been hurt enough times to call your walls boundaries. We hide behind irony, sarcasm, and self-improvement quotes. Anything to avoid saying, "I just want to be loved and not be left." We call it protecting our peace, but it's really emotional starvation. Because peace without connection isn't peace. It's loneliness disguised as self-care. Think about it. You've got people who will spend months talking, flirting, hanging out, but won't label it. You've got situationships that last longer than relationships, but no one wants to call it love because love sounds too heavy. Everyone wants the benefits of intimacy without the risks of commitment. We've become emotional minimalists because it's safer that way. Because if you don't give too much, you can't lose too much. If you don't feel deeply, you can't be broken deeply. But here's the catch. The walls you build to protect yourself also block out the very thing you're longing for. You can't selectively numb pain without numbing love too. And that's the tragedy of modern dating. Everyone's trying to win by caring less. But nobody wins. Because in a game where both people are guarding their hearts, love never even makes it to the table. You think you're protecting yourself, but really you're isolating yourself. You think you're being strong, but really you're just scared. And maybe that's the saddest part. Not that love is gone, but that we've made ourselves too emotionally minimal to even feel it when it's right in front of us. We live in a world where it feels like there's always someone better, someone hotter, someone funnier, someone more emotionally available, someone who just gets it, whatever it is this week. Technology promised us connection, but what it really gave us was illusion. The illusion of endless options. And that illusion has destroyed everything real about love. Because when everyone's replaceable, no one's valuable, you open your phone, swipe left, swipe right, scroll through faces like you're shopping for a human being, and you convince yourself that this is freedom, that having infinite choice means you're in control. But deep down, you're empty. Because choice without depth isn't freedom, it's paralysis. You can't appreciate what's in front of you when you're always wondering what else is out there. You can't commit when your brain's wired to think there's always another option waiting just one swipe away. So you keep searching, not because you're unfulfilled, but because you're addicted to the search itself. The thrill of potential has replaced the comfort of presence. Let's call it what it is. Dating apps and social media didn't give us connection. They gave us consumption. People have become profiles. Love has become marketing. And commitment? It's a dead language. You don't build a relationship anymore. You upgrade to a new one. You don't fix problems. You replace the person. Because why work on something when you can just start over with someone new? The moment someone doesn't meet your expectations, the moment the spark fades, you're gone. Because now effort feels optional, and patience feels outdated. You think you're exploring possibilities, but really you're running from depth. You tell yourself you're keeping your standards high, but what you're really doing is avoiding vulnerability. You scroll, you swipe, you flirt, you ghost, and every time it gets a little easier, a little colder, a little less human. Because when love becomes an algorithm, people stop being people. They become dopamine hits, temporary highs, digital ghosts of connection that vanish when the next notification hits. And that's the dark truth. Technology didn't just make love shallow, it made it disposable. We've created a culture where people treat affection like fast food. Quick, convenient, and forgotten the moment the craving fades. You don't savor it anymore, you consume it then move on. Because somewhere deep down, we all think there's more out there, that maybe the next person will be the one. But what if that illusion is the very reason we can't find anyone at all? See, the problem isn't that there are too few good people. It's that no one stays long enough to find out if the person in front of them could have been the right one. We're chasing perfection in a world built on filters and fantasy. And in doing so, we've turned love into an endless scroll. searching for something real in a system designed to keep us wanting more. So the next time you catch yourself wondering why love feels impossible, ask yourself this: do you really want a connection? Or do you just want the illusion of choice? Because one builds love and the other destroys it. They told us to love ourselves, to set boundaries, to put ourselves first. And somewhere along the way, that message got corrupted. Because what started as healing turned into hiding. What began as empowerment became entitlement. And self-love slowly transformed into self-worship. Welcome to 2025, the age of self-love narcissism. You see it everywhere. I don't owe anyone anything. If you can't match my energy, you don't deserve me. I'm protecting my peace. It sounds healthy, it sounds strong, but beneath the surface, it's often just ego dressed up as enlightenment. People don't want to grow. They want to feel right. They don't want to reflect. They want to deflect. It's not about healing anymore. It's about avoiding accountability while pretending it's spiritual. Self-love used to mean learning to accept your flaws, forgiving yourself, and showing up better for others. Now it's become a license to do whatever feels good, no matter who gets hurt. You ghost someone and call it protecting your energy. You refuse to apologize and call it self-respect. You push people away and label it boundaries. But really, you're just scared of being uncomfortable. Because true growth doesn't come from cutting everyone off. It comes from facing yourself, your patterns, your insecurities, your part in the pain. And that's the part no one wants to talk about. We've built a culture where selfishness is repackaged as healing, where arrogance is disguised as confidence, and where loneliness is rebranded as independence. We're all preaching self-love, but no one actually loves themselves enough to admit when they're wrong. Because loving yourself means accountability. It means saying, I messed up, I overreacted, I'm the problem this time. But that doesn't get likes, that doesn't go viral. So instead, people choose delusion, a filtered version of self-worth that needs constant validation to survive. Here's the harsh truth. A lot of people don't want love anymore. They want admiration. They want to be seen as the healed one, the strong one, the one who outgrew everyone else. But if you're always the hero in your story, you're never going to see the ways you keep causing your own pain. And maybe that's the real reason relationships don't last anymore. Because everyone's too busy trying to win instead of connect. The dark side of self-love culture is that it convinces you you're evolving, when really you're just isolating yourself in the name of growth. You don't trust people. You don't open up. You don't compromise. And you call it standards. But here's the thing. If your healing turns your heart cold, if your boundaries block every form of intimacy, if your self-love only thrives when no one challenges you, that's not love, that's loneliness in disguise. So ask yourself, are you actually healing? Or just hiding behind hashtags and affirmations to avoid facing who you really are? Because in 2025, the scariest part about love is realizing that the person you thought you were protecting yourself from might just be you.